Hi, and welcome to TV My Husband Hates. I'm Kat Sims.
And I'm Reagan Kempton.
And we are reality TV addicts.
Addicts, aficionados.
Ooh, I like that. Experts.
Experts.
Basically, we know our shit when it comes to reality TV.
100%.
Hey, everybody, and welcome to the Minisode for Real Housewives of Dallas reunion. Woohoo! Only a two-parter, so that always makes us happy.
Absolutely.
Reagan, how are you?
Ma'am. You know, I'm good. Full disclosure, guys, this is now the third podcast we've done today
In a row. I'm on my first glass of wine because it is 25 to 8 here in the evening.
Fair.
Reagan's on your 50-second
on Coke Zero
can of Coke Zero. So
yeah, so we're getting there, but I'm really excited about this reunion. I thought it was a fairly lackluster season to a certain degree, but I enjoyed it. I've enjoyed it better than others.
Me too, and I think I really there's a good place in my heart for Dallas. And funnily enough, on social media, lots of people are saying it should be done, it's over. But actually, I think there were definitely other franchises that we could cancel before Dallas. I mean, Atlanta.
Yeah.
Yeah, sorry. I didn't realize we were being subtle. Atlanta could definitely go. So I still think that Dallas has got real legs. It's still one of my favorite shows. And what's more, they're still delivering on an interesting reunion, which is something Atlanta's absolutely not. If you listen to our minisode we've just recorded about Atlanta, you'll notice that we spend more time talking about the royal family than we do talking about bloody Atlanta.
And current events on what's going on with members of the cast, which we'll probably touch on this one too. But the season was terrible.
But this one wasn't terrible. We're here for it. And let's start off with Carrie and Deandra, because they're the first kind of in the spotlight. And I think none of us are surprised when Carrie kind of discloses that there was shit going on behind the scenes.
Oh, for sure. I mean, the amount that she was drinking and the lengths that I felt like she was going to push people away made me think that something else was going on.
Yeah, and I think it's no surprise that her marriage with Eduardo has gone down the drain. And I do think that explains, if not, it doesn't excuse, but I think it explains a lot of her volatile behavior. And because as much as Carrie has always been a party animal and a little bit direct and out there, when I looked back at the footage of the way she treated Charles, that was a red flag for me.
It was mean.
She was
mean.
And she's not ever been consistently, it's not like she's ever hopped on and just been mean to somebody. She might have said something that offended somebody,
right? But
she's never gone out of her way to actively make somebody feel like shit. And she did it with Charles, and it was really dark to watch.
Yeah, I felt it was almost harder to watch the second go around, because you're just like, oh, I know what's coming. I don't want to watch this.
But also, I think we saw it within the context of Carrie always kind of being like that, so we were a bit numb to it. But then when we watch it back, and I was like, "Oh God, that was awful."
It was horrific. Good for. I mean, I still say good for Stephanie for making her apologize to him.
Yeah.
And really kind of taking her to task for her treatment of him.
But then I also agree with Deandra. It's take her to task for the way she treated Charles. Great, of course that needed to happen. And at the very, very end, when she fucked up some serious stuff, everybody got on board, but nobody cared when she was just laying into Deandra.
Right, for sure. And
I think,
or kind of being
right.
mean to Tiffany, pulling her in the pool and all that shit. You don't pull people who can't swim into the water. That's fucking terrifying.
No, and I don't think it's what Deandra says. I don't think it's that they're scared of Carrie, because they've shown that they're not. I think it's just that there's just a complacency within the group that there's an expectation that somebody's can be a cunt to somebody and be fine with it.
Yeah. Well, it's Carrie's just wild, and it's just her personality, and she doesn't mean it. And it's well, no, things got dark this season. And
they did. And
obviously shit was going on with her, and I can be empathetic to that, but it doesn't fucking excuse the shit she did.
No, and it doesn't mean that you can't call it bullying. She bullied Deandra.
For sure
because
she
she was
did.
in a group setting, and in a group setting, she made Deandra feel small, and she picked on her in a like, I don't care what anybody says, that's
No.
bullying.
Yes.
And also, it's not for Carrie to decide whether she was bullying Deandra. It's for Deandra to decide whether she
If
felt
she felt
bullied.
100%.
And she did. So
Yeah.
Carrie has to hold her hands up. And we can forgive her. She's going through a shit time.
Yeah.
But I always think Carrie's problem is taking responsibility.
Yeah, and I don't think we're going to see that get better. I think that's just like a fundamental part of Carrie. And I mean, I'm going to put it out there. I'd be okay if Carrie didn't come back next year and she just took some time off to deal with whatever she needs to deal with her husband. But I don't think that's a reality because I think now she needs money. So
yeah, no, I think
we're
she'll
just going to see
definitely
more
be
of
back.
Carrie.
But also, I mean,
I just don't know how I feel about her because, like, I guess like last season was so dominated by Leanne being fucking horrendous to her that like I don't maybe I just didn't get to know her, and now like this season I'm like I don't really like this person. Like I don't know if I really want to sit through another season of like Carrie being messy and having to and figuring shit out, if that makes sense.
Yeah, and I agree, and I think Tiffany's arrival in the group really threw everybody for a loop, because even Steph, who I adore, and I've never ever in my entire life seen her mishandle anything, or I've never had a bad word to say about her, but Tiffany threatened everybody in this group because she was smart and empathetic and human. And she's also not an angel. I want to go out and say I think she's probably really fucked up what she's been doing on Twitter. I can see why, but I don't think she's been in it. Like, I think she's been nasty on Twitter.
Mm-hmm.
But I think that the arrival of Tiffany really highlighted a lot of shit in this group that I feel bad that Tiffany had to shoulder the burden of, but I'm glad that somebody did.
Mm-hmm.
Because it really broke her. I feel like it broke Tiffany a bit.
Yeah, and I mean, I think it would. I think what's been really interesting is that we talk a lot about white and black relations. We don't talk a lot about Asian and white relations or any other kind of those other kind of racist issues. And it's a real problem here in the US right now, like especially because we had somebody in power consistently calling coronavirus the Chinese virus food. And really disgusting things. And it's really fueled like a
Asian hate.
Yeah. Yeah. So, I mean, I think I'm really happy she came on the show. I wish she would have stayed. Tiffany has since confirmed that she is out. Has she confirmed? Out. I mean, I know it's out, but has she confirmed it?
I don't know if she has. Rumor is that her agent, it's been confirmed, but she hasn't come out on her Instagram and said, I'm not doing it anymore.
Right.
But also, I'm sad because I enjoyed watching her, but I also, if I was her mate sitting at home, I'd be like, babe, leave the show. Like,
for sure.
You've got a great husband. You've got two beautiful girls. You've got a kick-ass job. You don't need to hang out with these fucking idiots that are making your life hell. Like,
no.
You don't need the money.
All you like, but but you can do that anyways. It doesn't need to be on camera. I wish she was more on camera because I think she forced people to really think about like their own possible biases and racial attitudes and things like that. But you're right. Like, I don't think she needs to carry the weight of everybody's.
And I also think it's an interesting point that you make about like a lot of people I think assume the race issue is black and white. And actually there's lots of people of color, Hispanics, Asian, Indian, all of this, that when I say Indian, to the US, when I say Indian, I mean people from the Indian continent. I do not mean Native American. But I think all of these things are important. And I think that there's a real struggle in those communities at this point because people are being very open and aware and trying to be very conscious of how they're feeling about their relationships with the Black community, but are perhaps sometimes forgetting that these tensions still exist with other communities of color. And I think Tiffany was great for that. I think probably Crystal will be great for this too. On Beverly Hills, because we already see her challenging Sutton in some of the teasers. So, and I think that will be interesting for Sutton because I think she's one of those people that thinks that this is a black and white issue. I don't think she'd look at Crystal as a person of color.
No.
So because she doesn't see color. That's Sutton.
Yeah.
Anyway, this is not the show we're talking about.
No.
So I am sad that she's going. In terms of the Tiff and Cameron, now what I want to say when we discuss the Tiff and Cameron feud, let's initially just talk about what we get on the reunion before we go into what's happened since.
Fair.
Because
what did you think of Cameron bringing in the little pink briefcase a la Elle Woods with her printed receipts?
I mean, this is now becoming kind of a trend at the reunions. We saw it with whoever it was that brought a binder. So, you know, and I think, here's the thing. I think Cameron had receipts to bring. Like, honestly, and we're talking about the reunion up to this point. I don't think Cameron has behaved very well at all. But I also don't think that Tiffany responded very well. So she gave Cameron fuel. She gave her like an excuse to throw stuff back at her. And I think Tiffany's smarter than that. And that kind of made me sad. I was like, you shouldn't have tweeted this shit, because now she's got it. She can print it off and she can throw it back in your face.
Yeah, but I mean, Cam did some really like nasty things on social media to her as well. Like, I don't think you could let that go. So
no, and I'm not. But what I'm saying is, like, I expect that from Cam, but I didn't expect that from Tiffany. So I was almost annoyed that she opened herself up to that. So.
Yeah, I disagree. I mean, I think if somebody was attacking food that my culture ate and saying they'd rather eat dog biscuits than the food from that is a fairly pronounced thing in my culture, I'm gonna clap back at that. And I think I would expect people to. Like, I don't think you should let Cam get away with shit because she's rich and white. And
no. And I'm not saying that you should let her get away with shit, but Andy pointed out that there were tweets that were actively mean. Like, I think that you can respond and retaliate. And I think Tiffany's smart enough to respond and retaliate without going low. And I think she could have gone high.
Yeah,
and she went
but I think that's really,
she did it.
Yeah, I think it's really easy for people to say that, but I think also this is her first show of the season, and 100%. It got deeply personal, and I think it was fine. Like, I think my understanding of it was that she had gotten over it in the time when it was happening, but it was the watching it back that triggered a lot of that shit. And you know, I get that. Like,
I do too, and I'm not saying that. Yeah, I'm not saying that I don't understand it. I understand it. I'm just sad for her because it gave Cameron a way in to attack her in a way that I think made me sad, because I don't think she deserved it. I think she was, like you say, I think it was a retaliation. She was like a fish out of water. She didn't know how to deal with it. And
so I guess my point is, shouldn't we be blaming Cam for bringing those things up, not Tiffany for retaliating?
Of course. All I'm saying is, like, when you reassess your actions, you look back on it and you go, well, look, if I hadn't have done that, like, you're only responsible for your own actions, right? So if I'm Tiffany, I'm looking at myself going, Cam's, why did I give her that?
Right. She's an idiot. We all know she's an idiot. I should have just let it be.
Of course.
But, yeah. Fair.
Or I should have, that's all I'm saying.
Okay. Yeah.
But I think Cam is like, when Tiffany cried at the end, and then Cam did that fake cry at the end.
I cannot, like, I always go back and forth with Cam. I am solidly in the not down with Cam Westcott camp at all.
Well, and so I guess sticking with the show for now, I think it looks hopeful. I think Tiffany does the right thing by accepting a hug, but we all know that this is just like, this is the fucking show. I'll take the hug, but we're good.
Right. Yeah.
And I think she was right to, because, of course, post-show, shit has hit the fan.
Holy shit. Like, so much shit. To the fact that, like, I feel like I saw a tweet where Cam's husband, Court, they got on a real tear about whether or not things were racist or not, and then told Tiffany that being anti-racist was actually racist, and then, like, likened it to the Holocaust. Like, some real fucked up shit came out of Court's mouth. I think he's not on Twitter anymore. Like, his account was deactivated. And then Court's brother, Chart.
I mean, let's just take a minute to digest the fact that there are two brothers. One is called Court and one is called Chart.
It's not good. He tweeted something about her being hungover at his house.
Tiffany or Cameron.
Tiffany. That, well, I don't know a lot about her. The only time I ever saw her was when she was hungover at my house, tagged the hospital that she works at, and was like, if I was one of her patients, I would wonder if she had been drinking. So, in my books,
but my face is like,
the Westcotts fucking deserve everything that they get. Tiffany can fucking respond however she wants to them because they are disgusting. Disgusting.
And more drunk
people.
shaming. More drunk shaming.
And tagging people's places of business. Like, and you don't put that out. I mean, like, that could seriously get her in a lot of shit.
Well, and I think it probably did. I think this is the main reason why she's left the show. I think it came down to her choosing between her job and the show, and she chose her job. Of course she did.
Good for her.
She saves fucking lives.
Yeah. Yeah.
I honestly think at this point, Cam has to go.
Yeah. For sure.
You can't fire Leanne.
No.
And let Cam do what she did. You can't.
No, and I wonder if this is why people are asking for the show to be canceled. I definitely don't agree. I enjoy watching Dallas. I think it brings up a lot of interesting things. It's a different setting and it's a different society from other shows. Like, they all have their own like culture, and I think we need to see that needs to be representative of all the US, even the parts of the US we wish maybe didn't exist. But anyways, I kind of lost my train of thought there. Texas has also just passed this crazy abortion. This is a total sidebar. This crazy abortion law that,
what's the law?
It makes them illegal after 6 weeks of pregnancy. Which, if you do the math,
well, you don't really find out.
You don't really know because you've only missed your period for 2 weeks by then. Anything past 6 weeks is illegal. It's the harshest abortion law in the United States, and is that fucking
voted
appalling.
For, or that's not a public
it's
vote,
voted for by like some people. Yeah. I mean, yeah. That's what's even grosser, that it's like people have voted for this. But I digress. So I think it's important that we see people from all parts to just remind us of who is still around. But I think you're right. I think if Leanne got fired for being mean to Carrie, then Cam needs to be fired for
being
racist about Tiffany.
Yeah.
And allowing her family, like, maybe it wasn't Cam, but like, you can't tell me like she didn't know what was going on, which is really gross.
And also just a nod to Tiffany for handling herself with grace in this reunion, because this can't have been an easy situation to walk into. Even Steph wasn't on her. She had, apart from Deandra, she had nobody on her side.
No.
And I think even at times she felt like during the show, Deandra wasn't on her side, because there were times Deandra talks about regretting not standing up for her.
Yeah.
So I can only imagine what a lonely experience this has been for her. And I'm sad that it was allowed to turn out like this.
For sure. I mean, because at the end of the thing, they all wish they had stood up for Tiffany more other than Cameron. But, you know, everybody says
and Carrie should have known better. Like,
she
should have known better.
Yeah,
it's not okay.
No, it's not. And I will miss watching Tiffany, because I really appreciated her being on the show. I felt it was finally a breath of fresh air to have like a working mom on the show who, you know, was super smart and self-assured, but also had her faults and owned them and worked through them. I thought it was a really nice change to the Housewives show. So I'm going to miss her a lot.
Me too. Agreed. Brandy.
Ugh. There were so many things wrong with Brandy this season, and I feel bad for her. I mean, I don't count the pregnancy thing as something that she got wrong.
No,
like,
me neither.
That is what it is, and everybody's fine, and it's fine. But like the meditation, calling it witchcraft, and like,
I don't know.
Shit.
Listen, I'm gonna, at the risk of offending Texas, I don't know whether that's just. Obviously not you.
No.
But like in
I don't think I mean,
but you know what I'm saying? It's like there's certain pockets of Texas where it's like, or not Texas, of America actually, and probably England too, but the Christian thing, the God thing is it's a cultural thing in America that doesn't really exist here in the same way.
No.
So I wonder if there's like just that part of Brandy that, as cool as she can be at times, this is just kind of a weird anomaly in her.
I mean, it's a little bit duplicitous, because I will say, like, the stuff about her speaking to spirits and things like that, the same religious people who don't like the meditation calling it witchcraft would not be super fucking happy about her doing that either. And that's where I just don't really like Brandy. I'm gonna just put it out there. I just don't like her. Like, I don't know if I'm not interested in her life. I'm not,
Sorry.
I mean, not even like a smarts thing. Like, I'm just not interested in her life. Like, she's not doing anything interesting.
But it's weird because I've always enjoyed her as a like
I
this
enjoy her
season.
as a friend. She
she's
should be
witty.
a friend on the
she's
show. She should be a
It's funny
friend.
you say that because I've
And-
always thought that she's one of the ones that holds that show up a little bit in terms of entertainment because she's always got like she's got a wicked sense of wit. She's got a funny turn of phrase. She's a comedian. She is comedic.
She is 100%. I feel like before she got in trouble with this video and being racist, she was. I think now that has happened, she cannot be. I feel like
Here's the thing. I think.
Go ahead.
Sorry, carry on. No, I interrupted you.
I think she cannot be her fun. Like, she doesn't trust herself to be funny without being racist or offensive.
Yeah, so you took the words out of my mouth. She's now in a position where she's second guessing herself all the time, and that doesn't make anybody funny or fun. No. And I think that's just a process. I think you have to work. She's going to work her way through that, and she'll come out the other side. It might take years.
Yeah.
So who the fuck knows? But in terms of what she puts out there publicly, she's going to be super guarded. 100%. She's going to be second guessing, triple guessing, quadruple guessing everything she says and does in a public sphere. So that's really undermined her role in the show, which was always the crazy comedian. So I absolutely get you. I think it's made her fairly redundant this season.
Yeah. And I mean, and I feel like there could have been more growth on the show with Tiffany. I think she missed an opportunity to do that. Yeah. I don't think she gets that she missed that opportunity, which makes it boring to me. And then this video with her husband possibly cheating on her at a club coming out. Like, I mean, I do feel for her. Like, she has not had an easy go of it. And, you know.
And bear in mind, that video came out when she was like heavily pregnant.
For sure. Well, it's an old
really
video too. And it was an old video,
but she hasn't seen it.
No.
And so she's heavily pregnant. We're in COVID. The racist
her mother-in-law has
stuff's
died.
Gone down. Her mother-in-law's gone down. Her kid's been in a car accident. So like
it's
I
been
get
shit for her.
It's been shit for her. And I also get why at that point she's not willing to just write off her husband, because you know what, sometimes you just need to let the shit pass before you make any big decisions. So I
absolutely
appreciate, and she's also got a 9-week-old, and we all know what that's like. Doesn't matter how many times you have babies, that's still fucking hard.
You literally should make no decisions for at least a year after having a child.
At least. So I'm not willing to write her off yet.
Yeah.
But I do think this has been a particularly difficult fucking year for her.
I think what I would like in my ideal world is like maybe next season she would just be a friend, let her deal with a lot of the stuff, but there for like the fun light moments. And then maybe bring her back when all of this is taken care of.
Yeah. I mean, I was disappointed with Steph in this reunion.
Me too.
I felt like I wanted her to stick up for Tiffany.
For sure. Like I feel like it's really out
of character
for her.
Me too.
Not to have done that. Especially when she was like really, standing up to Carrie and like calling her out on, some of her bullshit. I mean, it was just kind of weird. And I don't know if it's because of like the pandemic, like we're all a bit off. Yeah. And maybe that's kind of what's going on with the shows. But yeah.
Well, and also it's like she's been on the bad end of Cam. She knows we know that Cam will not let something go.
No.
Like, we know this. So I feel like there could be more empathy to Tiffany. And it's unusual for Steph not to see that. And I wonder what that disconnect is. Maybe it is COVID.
Yeah.
But man, it's a weird setup. I like ditch them all, keep Tiffany, and get a whole new crew. And Deandra. Yeah. Keep Deandra.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I like Deandra a lot. And I like that she's really been, I mean, since the show and when she said she really wishes she had stood up for Tiffany more, she has been like her corner
Really
on
is
every
sticking up
social
for her.
media post I've ever seen. Deandra has been like right there standing up for Tiffany. So I like that. I like that she's practicing what she preaches that she was going to do. I think we're going to continue to see a lot of growth from Deandra I'm sure the show will continue. If they haven't canceled Atlanta yet, Dallas is going to be here too. So
Well, and also I feel like that's what keeps them interesting, right? I
Yeah.
don't care if they're there for 15 years, but they need to grow. And we're seeing Deandra grow. I know we got different Deandra this season. We'll get a different Deandra next season. We've had the same fucking Kenya every season since this shit started.
Yep.
You know,
Yep.
we had the same Nene every season till she left too. So the people who are relying on this caricature to get them through, they've got a very short shelf life.
For
but
sure.
people like Deandra, who I feel are growing and open, and she's not getting it all right by any means, but that's really endearing. She's like, fuck, you can see her fucking finding her way. I am here to watch more of that. So in my book, keep Tiffany, keep Deandra, keep Steph, because I like her enough to give her another chance. Everybody else can go.
Yeah, have Brandy come on as a friend while she's working through all this stuff. Because one thing, did we talk about how Brandy thinks Leanne put the video out there? Because
we didn't, but we should.
Yeah, so it was on the reunion that, or did they say
not out there, but to her daughter, sent it to her daughter.
Yeah, sent the video to her daughter about Brian cheating, and everybody, other than Cameron, everybody thinks it was Leanne. Deandra definitely thinks it was Leanne who did it, and they think it's because Brandy's still on the show after her racist, behavior, whereas Leanne wasn't, which you and I have both talked about. I mean, Leanne was like verbally assaulting people on the show.
It's a different thing. Honestly, I can understand why on that one show, Leanne did this and Brandy did this. Well, Leanne was much worse, so we'll fire her. We'll give her another chance. But I don't know. I mean, to send a video of a guy cheating to his daughter is
to her daughter's private account too. Like,
is a whole new fucking level.
Yeah.
Of despicable.
I really hope
to send it to Brandy would have been despicable.
For sure. I hope it wasn't her. I could see where it would be. I hope it wasn't, but
I don't know. I don't know.
She's a damaged soul.
I do know though, like from personal experience, which we're not going to go into, but I do know that people who follow you, who don't know you, often feel the need to send you the stuff that they think that they should send you. Yeah. Sometimes that's done with good intent. Sometimes that's done with malintent. But I think to send it to your kids, always malintent. That's not cool.
Not at all. Not at all. That's really gross.
I don't know if it was Leanne. I'd like to think not. Like as much of
I'd hope it wouldn't be. Like I feel like Rich, like that would be something that would be talked about, and Rich would be like, "That is a terrible idea. Don't do it." I mean, maybe Leanne sent it to someone, and that second somebody. I mean, who knows?
Either way, it's despicable behavior.
Yeah, it's all gross. Not to mention it's gross of Brian, but I don't know. It's just hard shit, man. I mean, he's going through stuff too. I mean, he lost his mom,
Well, he didn't in 2018, to be clear.
No, but I mean, like there may have been a lot of growth since 2018. I mean.
Oh yes, no, you're right. Let's go back to Portia Williams. When people learn to be better, let them be better, and I think that's key. So whatever Brandy decides is Brandy's decision, and
for sure,
and you never know what's going on in somebody else's relationship.
Nope,
but
you don't.
But listen, I thought this was an more than acceptable season of the Housewives. I thought the reunion delivered. It was 2 episodes, and frankly, I've enjoyed it. I'm here for it.
That's all we need. I mean, I find it really hard to remember after 3 weeks what has been going on with these reunions anyway. So for me, it works better if it's just back-to-back 2 and done, which is what we were getting on New Jersey. New Jersey reunion is fire.
So we'll be recording that next week.
Yep, next week. That one will be done. So
Jimmy's going to be delighted. What, 3 episodes this week? 2 episodes next week?
Yep.
He's quarantining, so he's not got anything else to do.
There you go.
All right, listen, guys, thank you so much for your time. Remember to rate and review and subscribe. It really helps other people find us, which helps the podcast grow, which means that we'll be here for longer. So if you want to hear more of us, then that's all we ask of you. But in the meantime, have a great week, and remember,
smart people watch reality TV too. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Please subscribe, rate, and review TV My Husband Hates wherever you listen to your podcast. You can also follow us on Facebook and Instagram at TV My Husband Hates and join the Facebook group to keep the conversation going when the podcast ends. If Twitter's your thing, you'll find us at TV Husbands Hate. Theme music and production for TV My Husband Hates is by Jimmy Sims.